1st of July, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst. As Lou just mentioned, this is our first year in the morning. Yeshiva Samanach here in Yerushalayim, Kara Zoom. Pierke Avos. We're learning the sixth parak. Why and how, according to the explanation of the Maharam Prague, that Torah is giving a person Chai Olam Haba and Chai Olam Hazeh. Good morning, Roy. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Roy.
Fine, let me put this on the screen, and we will continue on with the Maharam Prague. Now, remember that again. I'll just to remind everyone. The Brisa brought down seven psukim. Right? If you remember, just to make a quick look at the psukim, you see here, if you look on your screen, or if you still retain the first document, right? So you see that we have seven psukim. So the Maharal is going through each one of the psukim to show how these psukim are related and showing the connection that the Torah has both to Chai Olam Hazeh and Chai Olam Haba, life in this world and life in the next world. Okay, so those are the psukim. There we have. It's good if you have that first document as a reference. And also, now we're going to go back to our second document, and that'll bring us to the paragraph. I think let's see, we did Lefika, yeah, right. Okay, boom, ode. Okay, we're over here. If you see where the highlight is a little bit there. That's what we're starting with, the red highlight. Mipnei she'adayin lo nishma haTorah titein chayim tovim ruchanim. Okay, so now we're going on with further explanations based on these psukim. Okay, any volunteers to do some reading this morning?
I do.
Okay, very good. Can begin, please.
So we're at Lefichach.
Nope. I think we say the word you see on the screen where the red highlight is.
Panei. I got it. Mipnei Madrega Umala Zos HaTorah.
I'm sorry, I lost you. I'm not sure where you are, Lou.
Go a little further down, Lou.
It's the next Mipnei. Okay. Umipnei Shadayan Lo Nishma HaTorah Titain Chaim Tovim Ruchnaim
Ruchanim, from Ruchnius, right? From Ruchnius.
Ruchanim She Mikablas Nishma Hanishma Vehem Chaim Habaim Min Olam Haba. Because that still we have not heard from that the Torah gives life, gives good life in the physical world, that we receive the soul and
What's that? What does that? Okay. Okay. Again, umemnei she'adayin lo nishma she'atorah nosin chaim toivim ruchanim. That because she'adayin we still have not heard that the Torah gives good spiritual life. Ruchanim is spiritual, the spirit, ruchnius. Chaim tovim ruchanim, that a good spiritual life, shemekabeles hanishama, that the neshama receives that. We don't have any proofs, any indications yet that the Torah is giving a life of goodness to the soul. That there's a spiritual life that the soul gets from the Torah. We haven't heard that. We haven't heard anything. We haven't learned anything about that yet.
Baal zeh mevi mikra ki livya hain haim the roshcha the anakim legar garosich
Legarosecha.
legar garosecha and concerning this the pasuk brings what is Levias?
So this is the pasuk. Remember the pasuk? Go back to your first document. Go back to your first right. Go back. Look on your screen. Look on your screen. You'll see on your screen right now a highlighted pasuk in. They call it yellow. That's called yellow. You see the screen, the pasuk highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
That's a pasuk in Mishlei, in the first chapter of Mishlei, right? Ki leyivyas hein heim l'roshecha va'anakim l'gorosecha. So that is it's a wreath, livyas hein, a wreath of grace. It is the words of Torah for l'roshecha, for your head, va'anakim l'gorosecha, and it's a necklace, right? A necklace about your neck. So that corresponds to what we're right now. You'll see the corresponding yellow there. See, the yellow corresponds to the yellow.
Right.
See that there?
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Okay. So
Therefore, this pasuk here, when again, this is going to be a indication to us that the Torah gives a spiritual life to the soul.
Perushah, he Torah chitain the neshama madrega ruchnius. This explanation is that since the Torah gives the neshama a level of spirituality. V'zeh shamar ki levias haim l'roshcha ki harosh shavo haneshama ha'al peace. This that it says, since it's a ornament of grace for the head, since the head, it's the head that comes, that to which comes the neshama. What is this word? Peace.
Hello, keys. The divine, the divine soul, right? The focus of the divine soul is in the head, in the brain, in the moach, right? So that's the focal point of the divine soul, right? So therefore, that's what what's being stated over here, that it's specifically a wreath, right? A wreath to your head, and specifically to the fact that it's a wreath of grace for your head. That's something which has relevance to the neshama, because that's the seat, that's the source of where, and the focus of where the soul, the divine soul, is located. So this is excuse me.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you weren't done.
Yeah, no. Okay, so this is how the pasuk is now bringing proofs that there is a relevance of chaim tovim for the neshama through words of Torah, just as it is benefits to the physical body of the person as well.
Hitein haTorah elav levias chen ratzalomar chavur shel chen. The Torah gives a crown of grace, that is to say, chibur. Chibur is a group.
Hebrew is it's the same shorish, in fact, but Hebrew is like a connection, right? It's a Hebrew is a connection, a chabura, a chaver, why is a chaver called a friend, right? Because you have a connection, you have a close connection with him, right? That's why it's called a friend. A chaver is called a friend. A chabura is a group of people is called a chabura, because they're all connected in some way to each other.
So it's a connection of grace.
Right. Titain HaTorah Elav Livos Chen, that it's given the Torah that it should be a wreath of grace. Ratzala means Chibur Shel Chen. It's a connection of grace, meaning person through Torah is associated now, is now connected, joined with chen, with grace.
B'hachein eino davar gashmi v'hu nibdal legamre sheharei eino davar mamash rak chen shehu al ha'in ve'ein ze davar gashme klal. And this grace, it's not something that is physical.
Right.
And
Chen is, when you look at grace, what do they say? What's the phrase they use? Um, Something in the eyes of the beholder. How's that phrase go? Who knows that phrase? What's that phrase? In the eyes of the beholder?
beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Beauty. Yeah, beauty. That's the Hollywood got involved there. You're not really interested in beauty, right? That's Hollywood getting involved. Well, but we're talking about something more relevant, more reality based than beauty. Pain is something which is a spiritual aspect, right? Something which is not connected to the physical, right? Beauty is something which is attached to the physical. But that what we call in English is grace, right? Um, that that is something which is non-physical. We if you remember the pasuk, right? Remember the pasuk, the end of Parshas Bereshis, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, end of Parshas Bereshis says here.
Noah found grace in the eyes of God.
That's right, right. V'noach motza chen b'nei Hashem. Right, and if you know that Noach and Chen are the same letters, right? Nun ches nun.
Yep, very interesting.
Right, and it's worthwhile taking a few minutes out and discussing this. We should realize that the whole of the existence of humanity, right, depended on that. Because Noah found Chen in the eyes of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, humanity was saved, right? He's our great grandfather, right? And because of this Chen that Noah had, right? And also, the pasuk when it uses this phrase, right? Uses this phrase that Noah motza chen b'nei Hashem. So, like, again, without Hollywood getting involved over here, we're not talking about Hollywood stuff. We're talking about what the Torah is talking about, that Hashem, right? The Noah found grace, favor in the eyes of the Hakadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, kiviyachol, in the eyes of the Hakadosh Baruch Hu. That of all the people who existed at the time, Noah was perhaps the one and only person that was worthy of having found favor in the eyes of the Hakadosh Baruch Hu for various different reasons. But that was all, and that's not because he was a handsome guy. I don't know if he was a handsome guy, right? Maybe not handsome at all. There's a Gemara that the Gemara says that there was a Roman princess who once came across one of the Tanoim, one of the Amoraim, and she asked him if why is he so ugly? She wants to know why is he so ugly? So you may remember the Gemara. He asked her, "You're a princess, right?" She says, "Yeah, I'm a princess." Says, "Your father's a king, right?" "Yeah, that means your father's a king. My father's a king." So I tell you what. So he asked her a question. "Tell me, where does your father store his wine in?" Right? She says, "Well, he stores the wine in the clay vessels, right? Earthenware vessels." He says, "What? That's what a king does? He should put the wine in gold vessels." Right? So she went home and she was thrilled with this new idea, right? She understood that, it doesn't rate for a king to fill his wine up in vessels of clay. It belongs in gold vessels, right? So she convinced her father, the king, to put all his wine into the gold vessels. And you know what happened after a short time? It all turned to vinegar.
Mm,
So then she came back to him and says, "What's going on?" So now you understand, right? You have something that you value. You have something you value. You don't always put it in the most beautiful container possible, right? You value the thing that's in it, right? So if the thing that's within it is valuable, you don't have to have a valuable container for it. So that's what he explained. So Noah had found fain in the eyes of Kadosh Baruch Hu. We found grace in the eyes of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Because of that, he was worthy that the whole of humanity should be saved through him. Yeah? And so that's something which is not physical. It's something which is based on in ruchnius. So that's why the pasuk here that the Torah gives a person a wreath of grace around his head, specifically around his head, is the Maharal is telling us that's because the head is the focus, the central location, so to speak, of the neshama. It's true, the neshama fills the whole body, no doubt about it, but it's primarily focused in the head. Okay, let's continue on.
Okay, I didn't translate the last part. Let's see. And this grace is not physical. Vahu nivdal, and it's separate, legamre, completely. That we see it's not something that is actually that is actual. Only pain that it is. Al ha'in. What is ha'in?
The al ha'ayin, shu al ha'ayin. The ayin. This is referring to something which is on the ayin. It's something which is relevant to sight. Something which is relevant to the sight.
And this is not something physical at all.
So now I'm not sure what that means exactly. I'm trying to work that out. What's the reference to? Why is it something which is not Ein davar shu al ha'ayin? Something shu Eino davar mamish, shahari eino davar mamish, rak chen shu al ha'ayin. Meaning something which is perceived. Maybe I think that's what it means. Something which is perceived. It's not something which is physically present. Right? Chen is not something which is physically present, but rather that it's something which is observed.
Well, why does
Makes sense? Makes sense to you, Roy? Does that follow what we're saying over here? This is a different. The Maharal is giving us a difficult concept over here, right? Giving us a difficult concept that Chen ain't a davar gashmi. Who nivdal gamri? It's completely nivdal. I mean, it's completely separate from physical aspects of all things. Shahari ain't a davar mamish. It's nothing really real. There's nothing really there, right? Rak chen shuhu al ayin. There's an appearance. I think that's what he means here. There's an appearance of chen. The appearance of chen. Mein zeh davar gashmi klal. That's something which has nothing to do with gashmis at all.
What's the word? Where's the word chain come from? From where?
The word chen.
Yes.
That we see from Noah. That was what Noah had it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all right. I mean, you can't break it down into something.
Well, the chesnun. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what that's going to break down to. It's a very small word. It's in and of itself. It's a very small
Yeah, I
word.
was just thinking, in order to give a better understanding of it, how you can break down some words. origin and how they're used and all that.
Right. But here, I mean, here I don't know if we can get any smaller than, smaller than this.
Hmm.
Um, um, it's a little bit hard, the chain, right? So,
Isn't there something about spelling a word backwards to understand its meaning?
you could, so that's going to give you Noach. That's going to give you Noach, right?
It says rest.
Right.
So does it have to do with rest?
It could be. I mean, first of all, I would say, how does it when a person see rest is a sense of stability to something which is at rest has a certain stability, right? Has a certain sense of stability. It's certainly in some ways stable. It also um it also is something which is like complete, like something complete. It has a certain degree of perfection, right? Certain degree of perfection. Why do I say that something which is at rest, something which is at rest has a certain degree of perfection? Because when a thing is stable, and the thing is it's stable because it's reached a um a plateau in its existence. It's found its place in existence. It's not out of place. Something which is out of place is always going to be on the move, right? That's why Gullus, the Maharal explains this in other places. That's why Gullus, right? The fact that that Claudius has to go into Gullus and wander amongst the Goyim, that's indicative of of our lack of perfection, right? When we were in Eretz Israel and we had the Beis Hamikdash, and we have the Kohanim doing the vote, and we had Karbonis, and we had the Shechin in the Beis Hamikdash, right? And the year Kodesh of Yerushalayim, the Holy City of Yerushalayim, and we had Eretz Israel. When we had all these things, that was a indication of our perfection, and it not only indicated our perfection, but it was also corresponding to our perfection. But when we lost that, when we lost our perfection, then we lost the ability to be in Eretz Israel. We had no right to be in Eretz Israel because we weren't on the level of appreciating and making use of Eretz Israel. Because Eretz Israel, the Beis Hamikdash, the Kohanim doing the voda, that is a situation whereby Klal Yisrael reaches its perfection. So if we're doing it and we're perfecting ourselves through all these things, then there's a purpose to it. But if we're not, then we don't need them, and we get sent into Gullus. And the Gullus, the fact that we're wandering from here to here, from one nation to the next, that's indicating our lack of perfection.
What about the gematria?
Yeah, so that comes out to 58, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we get? What do we get from that? I'm trying to think. What do we get from that? I can tell you if you're interested in gematrias, I can tell you. You should know, Roy. The another word that has the same gematria as Noach is ubechol, 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 right? Vav is six, base is 2, that's 8. Chaf is 20, 28, and 30 brings you to 58. Ubechol, right? So that's something which is all inclusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're saying. Chen is indicative of perfection, right?
Uh-huh.
And if something is something is sensed, perceived to be perfect, it has a chen to it, right? Something is you You ever go to a horse show? You ever go to a horse show? You see show horses? You ever go to a dog show?
No,
Why do people go to dog shows? Why do people go to horse shows? What are they showing? What are they showing over there? What are they showing?
Beauty.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than beauty. It's actually perfection. I mean, you can have a nice looking dog, but he's got a bad temperament, so he's not going to win the prize because he bit the judge. So it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than just beauty, right? That's Hollywood stuff, right? That's Hollywood, California. So but Chain is an indication of the perfection of the physical object. Physical object has some level of perfection. So according to the level of perfection, it has Chain, right? Okay. Let's continue on a little bit.
The Amar, the Anakim, the Gargarosecha, Perush, Gargarosecha, who Hagaron, me,
Right, Gargarosecha is the parish of that is right. Garon. Garon is your throat. Garon is throat.
Shemisham, Yotze, Dibor, Shel Adam. That from there goes out the words of a person.
Right, that's where the person starts enunciating his words begins in the throat, right?
Right.
if you don't mind, just go back to the Gematria 58. I've got here a whole lot of things. It's interesting. I asked the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it came out. I sorry. I asked which Hebrew words have a gematria of 58. Said Cain, spelt it in Hebrew too, meaning grace or favor. Noach, the biblical figure of Noah. Kana, a Hebrew name meaning grace. Ozen, meaning ear. Chesed, mercy, loving kindness. The number 58 also has some interesting properties in Gematria. It is a numerical value of chesed, clemency in the Sephirotic tree of the Kabbalah, according to some interpretations. The word tear, T-E-A-R, appears 58 times in the Bible, 48 times in the Old Testament, and 13 times in the New Testament. All right. In Jewish numerology, 58 is considered significant as it combines the energies of 5 representing divine grace and 8 representing infinity and renewal.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. It's worth noting that Gematria interpretations can vary between different traditions and sources. And these are some of the more commonly cited associations for the number 58 in Hebrew Gematria. 31.
Okay.
All right,
So-
so we came up with it and I didn't quite get in before we started the next.
No, so you said Chesed is the same gematria as Chain, right?
Yeah, and Chana also.
Chan also.
That's my wife's name.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And awesome. All right.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, that was just an interlude. Okay, back to business.
Sorry, I had to go to the door. Weiter?
Yeah.
Okay, so we said that what is this? Va'anakim.
Right. Anakim necklaces.
Necklaces. Okay, so it says necklaces for the neck. And the explanation of the neck is that it's the throat, and that's where the speaking comes from.
Right. That's where when you start speaking way down. So actually, that's very good because you have the neshama. You have the neshama, as we're saying here, is the focus of the neshama, the divine soul, is in the head, in the brain, in the moch. And now there's a connection between that and the Goro and where the source of speech is beginning. And that's, we know that the ability of people to speak, right, is primarily because we have the divine neshama, right, which is connected to our ability to put our thoughts into words.
Right. The hadibor shel adam be'arnu lecha ha'amim are they who ha'chayos shel adam ba'olam hazeh. And the words of a person. What is ba'arnu?
We have explained.
We have explained
Lachad, we've explained to you.
to you. Sometimes.
No, Pamim Rabi Harbi, many times. Pamim Harbi.
Many times. It is an obligation of man in this world.
This is hachios, the life of a person in this world.
Oh, it's the life. So speaking is the life of a person in this world?
That's right.
Shaharei.
Person's brought into this world, so he should be able to speak. Use his brain properly and to speak. And primarily, what are we supposed to be speaking about? Primarily, we're supposed to be speaking about the praises and thanksgiving we owe to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right?
Right.
You may be familiar with some people say Perek Shira, all the different creations of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's every day the various praises and thanksgivings to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we're no less than them. The whole purpose of our existence is that we should give praise and thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Right. Shaharei Adam hu Baal Chai Midbar
Midaber.
Midaber. Excuse me, I have to get the phone.
Right, that a person
Oh,
is a speaking entity, right? Person's a Baal Chai Midaber. He's a speaking entity. Moshe Barano Hamayim, as we've explained many times. Ki Unkelis Targame right? Onkelos in the Chumash, you take a look at the Chumash in the Pasuk, V'ahi Adam Nefesh Chaya, Habes Ad Ba'adam Ruach Mamala. It's a Ruach Mamala. It's an elevated Ruach. Shemizet Teda, from this you know, Ki Ikar Mashu Chai Midaber. The primary essence of a person is that he's Chai Midaber. He has a living being that is able to speak. That's the primary essence of a person. He's a living being that is able to speak. Okay, we're gonna. I think maybe it's a good spot to say. Maybe we'll review this. Maybe we'll review this point next time. It might be worth. I think it'll be worthwhile reprinting this. Yeah. I think let's repeat that paragraph next time. It's a shame. Okay, good. We'll take a break and then we'll start Mr. Bush here shortly. Roy should have a good afternoon. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Same here.
Very good. Okay. Okay, we'll see
Sorry,
you all.
sorry, I
see
did
you all soon.
interrupt.
Right. Okay.